You break up with a and all of a sudden he got a sleeve, a car, and ain't broke no more. Like, was I holding you back or?
Yes. Next video, please.
A man should never have to ask his woman for affection, because a woman who is truly into her man has an urge to make his day better. So if you got that man asking, you're running out of time with him.
Why do single men ask other single men what women want instead of just listening to what women want?
Like, it's actually not very complicated. You guys are making it so much more complicated than it needs to be.
So you're not married?
Nope.
Ever been?
Nope.
Wanna be?
Nope.
Don't you want a woman of your own?
What for?
Share your name, bear your children, be a companion?
They asked me to quit drinking, quit gambling, and save my money, and to about her aches and pains all day? No thanks.
Must be a lonely life.
It's a great life.
Whether that's true or not, how much poorer am I for that belief? If I just go, no, I'm going to stand and I'm going to say, man, would you like to sit? You want to light somebody up, by the way, open doors for them, give up your seat to someone. If you're walking down the street and it's raining and you have an umbrella and there's a woman who doesn't have an umbrella and you go, would you like to have a little of my umbrella? You will light somebody's day up doing things like that. As a man, you cannot go wrong being chivalrous.
We even see these behaviors lead women to get rid of seemingly good men because of another woman told them so. A lot of women are getting rid of their own happiness due to listening to other people.
I have clients who regret divorcing their husbands because they later realized what they were asking for or what they were feeling in the moment was just that, a feeling in the moment. But women divorce men for that. It doesn't mean he wasn't a good one at all. Even Tyrese's ex-wife would not have admitted to regretting divorcing him because he was what? A good one.
Do you know that men are never ignoring you? It's true. If he's on his laptop or watching a sports event or a movie, he's focused on that. He can't watch and ignore you at the same time. That would require him doing two things at once. And a man's single focus only allows him to do one thing at a time. It's not personal to you. He's just focused on something else at that moment.
What's going on, fellas? Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment down below. Let's get back to the video.
You lost a good man, not because he lacked anything, but because you didn't recognize his worth. He offered you his heart, his time, his unwavering support, yet you overlooked the value of what he brought into your life. He gave his all, hoping you would see how much he cared. But instead, you took his presence for granted. Now you're left with the void of what you failed to appreciate. It's not that he wasn't right for you. It's simple. It's that you weren't ready for the love and devotion he gave so freely. Straight up.
Why do women regret leaving this type of guy? I'm about to tell you in this video. First off, it took them a while to commit to begin with. Then when they finally do commit and they're settled and they're in a relationship, and a woman decides to either end the relationship, they cheat, or they do something that betrays this type of man's trust. Essentially, when you hurt this type of guy, ladies, there is no coming back from that. It's almost an impossibility. And the thing is, women will come back because this type of guy is rare. There aren't many like him. And if he's in your life, he's probably an asset. So hold on to him, cherish him, and try hard not to betray this man's trust. Because once he's gone for good.
Know how many men no longer open the door for women?
Well, who caused that though? Who chivalry? I think me personally, I think some women chivalry because I'm gonna tell you why. Let me before you talk, bro. Let me say my piece. The reason why I say that because, and I could have men that can attest to this. When men try to do those nice things, open the door for a woman, you know, slide her chair for her. These men are called, oh, he's too soft. Or when a man give women roses, he's too, bro, it happens. I have men that can attest to this.
Let me tell you something, brother.
I have men that can attest to
Opening a door is not something you do because you being nice.
No, that's
just something you do because it's just something you do, bro.
But I'm saying though,
you're not doing it for somebody to be grateful for. It's just, That's just in you, man.
No,
You know what I mean,
okay, let me go back to what I said.
What would you do if your partner told you that you weren't allowed to bring your phone into the bathroom in your own home? Because that's exactly what happened when this creator made a 5-part series detailing such events. So in part 1, she's basically saying that her boyfriend takes a really long time in the bathroom and it's making her concerned and speculate that he's cheating on her. Comments are terrifying. I'll pick the lock, don't play with me. I always go in there after 5 minutes and stand and stare at him until he's done. I personally wouldn't let that slide, so I started throwing hands on him while he was on the toilet. Part 2 is when she decides to time him. Part 3, it ends up taking him a whole half hour, so through tears she announces that she's leaving him. But just kidding, because in Part 4 she actually tells him that she doesn't want him taking the phone into the bathroom anymore, so he calls her childish and he breaks up with her. But now she's the victim even though this was her plan all along because she didn't get to do it first. Men have been finding gentle escapism on the porcelain throne for time immemorial. Men will sit there until their feet are numb simply reading a shampoo bottle, because it's simply a place they find peace, and you're trying to take that peace away from him.
And then, you have so many women out here that are just weird. They're just weird. Oh, there's no reason to approach me. There's no reason to be around me, except to just have normal human interaction. There's so many women that complain about men not approaching, and men, not even for approaching, not even for dating purposes, but to just be social, man. I don't want to talk to women all the time. I want to talk to some guys. I want to see what they're up to. Well, whenever you guys talk sideways, whenever you guys talk crazy, what are you expecting a man to do? What do you think a man is going to be doing? You think a man is going to be walking up to you if you're not friendly? I mean, guys, come on, man. It's not rocket science.
Women often say there is not enough good men to date anymore, and actually data backs this up. On Tinder, the average guy is liked by less than 1% of the women on Tinder. Think about it, like 1 in every 115, which is a vast inequality on dating apps alone. You can compare it to like 95% of the world's economy. I have notes on the screen. If you see me looking, that's why. So why is this? Well, studies often show that women don't just filter for attractiveness, they filter for income, they filter for status, ambition. All these things make up who they're going to choose. Because of this, 80% of men on dating apps are rated unattractive by women. The result is a tiny portion of men getting all the attention. And this creates a really bad dichotomy, where a lot of these men, because they are eligible candidates, don't feel the need to settle down because they have all the options. These studies also show that men swipe way out of their league, which floods the woman's account with attention, so they're more selective, and it's so much deeper than just the apps. But a question still stands. Are the standards rising, or are expectations just completely disconnected from reality?
I think the men these days are being bred a little bit different. I think they're not as willing to be rejected or take a risk. And so I think that shows up when you're out and about. Like, men aren't really approaching as much as they used to.
Why do you think they're not approaching women in the same way?
Well, women made a global witch hunt against flirting, and now they're mad that men aren't flirting with them.
That's right. It's kind of like how they killed chivalry.
The whole Me Too movement caused this.
Okay.
That's literally what caused it, especially for the younger guys. Maybe the older gentlemen, like they weren't really affected by it too much, and
they still approach.
They're used to it. There's still the ones who are single, maybe.
Yes.
Who aren't locked down. But younger guys, like I get these kind of younger guys, like telling me they're terrified of going up and talking to a woman. I literally made a post on Twitter yesterday. It was about like, what's the worst thing that can happen if you go up and say hi to a girl? You're not going to regret it. And I had like a couple of dudes like slide in the comments and be like, I got accused of by just saying hi to a chick on campus.
Hey, have men ever thought about telling you how they feel while it's happening? You know you guys can do that, right? Like if you're having a feeling like in the moment, you can just say it. You can tell me. You can tell me. You don't have to wait until you break up with me and you spiral on something that, maybe could have been resolved or at least alluded to earlier on. We could have. Like, do you know you can do that?
I think the problem for a lot of men is that they do tell you their feelings early on in the relationship, but then at some point he's made to feel like he regrets it because he either ends up apologizing for how his feelings hurt your feelings, or his thoughts and feelings on something ends up getting used against him later on. So ladies, if you really do want your man to tell you his feelings in the moment, you have to be able to receive it and empathize with it. And let me tell you, that is a really hard thing to do if you don't understand men. So follow me. I know men pretty well.
You ask a man to get your nails and your feet done, or to put gas in your car, or to get you some lunch. They put it in the same bucket as being used. Do you really think a woman these days can't get her nails and her feet done or put freaking gas in her car or buy herself a Chick-fil-A #1 meal?
Did you watch this video back before you posted it? Because in your video, you answered your own question, but yet you still posted it. You have the means and the funds to do it for yourself, but yet you still want the man to do it for you so you can keep your money. So you're using him so you don't have to spend yours. Some of y'all don't even give the men that you're talking to the opportunity to even offer it. You're asking for it as soon as you start talking to this man. It's a turnoff. And this is not somebody y'all are in a relationship with. That is 100% different. These are men that you're just having conversations with. You're talking to, getting to know, and you want them to spend money on you. And all this just to prove that they like you.
I was married to a good man who ultimately was not my man, and I knew that pretty early on. I knew that maybe 3 hours into our first date. I knew that 6 months in when we got engaged, and I knew that again and again and again. But I didn't want to know that because I really wanted the relationship to work. And I think what was so hard was that we were good friends. We had a great time together. I loved the work he was doing. I loved the way we collaborated. And on paper, everything looked like a good match. But I still knew that something was missing. It's funny because I lead journaling workshops and I always ask people, what truth are you afraid to admit to yourself and why? And it was the question that I avoided the most because the truth I was afraid to admit to myself is that I no longer wish to be in my marriage. Admitting that to myself meant I'd have to blow everything up. And in a lot of ways, it was good and comfortable. There were so many reasons to try and make it work because it was more convenient. But I ultimately realized I didn't want to live a life that was convenient. I wanted to live a life that was courageous.
You know, once again, you hear a lot of these modern women upset about men not approaching. But you have to realize you continue to tell men to leave you alone. You continue to tell men you don't want them to approach. You continue to say rather emphatically, I don't want men around. Not only do I not want men to approach me romantically, I don't even want to be friends with them. As a matter of fact, I don't even want men around. I don't want men to be around me at all. And at that point, what do you think is going to happen? What are you thinking? How do you think that they're going to respond? That's what we're going to talk about here. That's the thing we got to get to. Modern women not really understanding that their words actually mean something. You pop off at the mouth. What are you expecting a man to do?
Since men don't approach women anymore, I guess I should start going up to men. I live in a city, and literally anytime I'm walking anywhere, anytime I see a cute guy, it's always heads down, headphones in, he won't look at anyone. What am I supposed to do? Chase a guy down the street that does not want to be bothered and ask him if he is single? I feel like I give off the most approachable vibes. I'm always smiling, looking pleasant, not looking at my phone. I don't wear my headphone. Literally never once. I've never been
I just think that at this point, you got to take it up with the ladies, not the men. Because between Drizzle and the whole bear versus man argument, and then all of these recent videos of women saying that men are terrible and they are man haters, I just think that it would be helpful to the men if y'all got your message straightened out. Because you can't have it both ways. You're going to have to deal with somewhat uncomfortable situations where somebody that you're not interested in actually approaches you and they think that you're attractive. And guess what? You can't be super insulted about it and then blame him for doing that. Or you don't deal with that and then you become the one that is approaching the guy. You're the one now that has to deal with the rejection and maybe even being called a creep. Guys are gonna love that.
Stop doing that. Science can teach you how to approach women at the gym. I'm Max Butterfield, and so can I. I'm Max Butterfield, Dr. Max Butterfield. I study this kind of thing for a living. 3 science-backed facts you should know. Number 1, choose the right moment. Don't interrupt her focus. Don't do it while she's lifting. Wait until she's resting, ideally in a shared space like at the water fountain. Number 2, use glances. No staring, and especially not while she's lifting and doing exercises. So look and then look away. Look and then look away. If she does that back, that is a really good sign. If she doesn't, you're being weird. Stop doing that. You know what weird is. Stop. Number 3, know when to disengage. And that is what I was talking about in point number 2. If she puts her headphones back on after you talk to her, she's done. If she looks away, gives short answers, does not want to be around you, it is time to leave. Take the cues, do the right thing. Speaking of doing the right thing, stop following the influencers. Follow me for daily science-backed reels or click on the link in my bio for free guides. You can do it. I believe in you.
What happened to men pursuing girls? When was the pivotal moment that a man chose to not go after a girl anymore or put in any effort? It seems like guys can just put the bare minimum and not even really put in effort anymore. They don't really care to. Or they're like, why don't girls just go and make the first move and make the effort? When did it become a thing? Now it's like role reversal where they expect girls to be making the first moves, yearning for a guy and chasing him. That is, I feel like, the downfall of why it's so hard to meet someone, because men don't put in effort anymore, don't care to put in effort. And a relationship won't work unless the guy likes the girl just a tiny little bit more. He has to like her just the tiniest bit more for it to work in the long haul. So it would make sense if a guy really wanted to get to know you, that he would go leaps and bounds to get to know you. And when did that shift?
Because if a man persisted like that in today's dating world, he would at the very least be called a creep. And at the worst, he'd be going to jail. That is the reality that a lot of men face. So that, in combination with the fact that women are not really reciprocating effort and they're not treating men very well right now, there is a large group of men that are saying that it's just not worth it. And they would say that women have asked for it. They have asked men to leave them alone. So guess what, ladies? They're leaving you alone.
This is a PSA for all of the modern women out there. Y'all, I need y'all to stop begging men for money that y'all just met. I need y'all to stop doing this. First of all, you should be embarrassed yourself to even ask a man that you just met for money, because you as a grown woman cannot afford your own lifestyle and your bills. You should be embarrassed and ashamed to the point that you don't even want to do it. But you know what y'all do? Y'all modern women will still ask the man for a cash app and money. Just met this man 2.5 seconds ago and already given him a sad story about how you need some money. It's embarrassing. It's shameful. This man is supposed to give you, a woman he don't know, his hard-earned money because you as a grown woman aren't responsible. Make it make sense. It don't make no sense at all. I'm tired of these modern women. And I'm a woman, and I'm tired of the nonsense. So I just want y'all to know that you, women who do that, are entitled, and you're no different than a beggar on a corner with a cup and a sign begging for money. Please don't think you're above it. Please don't think that it's not your lane, because it is. You're a beggar. Get it together and level up.
A lot of these modern women have to make the first move, and they hate it. It's not a very good experience for them. A lot of these modern women grew up thinking that men are supposed to do all that, and men usually did. They usually did. But men stopped doing that. So now you have to put yourself out there. You have to risk rejection. You got to initiate. And now you're realizing, oh shoot, maybe it's not that easy. Men just made it look that way. Maybe, just maybe, now that I'm approaching, there were some things that I did and some ways that I acted that were completely out of line. Maybe men were doing the right thing, but because I had some bad sushi that night, I acted out of character and I tried to clown him because my stomach was hurting. My bad.
I've been having a hard time dating, and I'm honestly starting to feel a little lonely. Well, that's your fault. You're obviously not putting yourself out there. Oh, no, I am actually. I go to the gym, I go to church, I'm on the apps. It's just people either don't want to be approached or they just don't respond. Well, you're probably being disrespectful or creepy. I don't think that's fair. I mean, the other day I had a second date and I'm the one who decided there wasn't a spark. So you were being too shallow? No, I'm allowed to have standards too. And besides, it's not the only problem with dating. That second date, I took her to dinner and bowling, and it cost me $180. That's a week of groceries just to see if we like each other. That's ridiculous. So you were just trying to impress her with money? Nope, absolutely not. It was just bowling and Applebee's. It's just that things cost money and guys are expected to pay. I mean, do you think I should start seeing if they want to go Dutch? Ew, no. If you ask a girl to split the bill, it means you hate her. So let me get this straight. If I approach a woman, I'm creepy. But if I only message on apps, I'm antisocial. And if she doesn't like me, I'm a loser. But if I don't like her, I'm an a-hole. If I spend too much on a first date, I'm too flashy. But if I spend too little, I'm a bum. Yes, oh my God, why is this so hard for you to understand? Why are you even asking me about this? It's not a woman's job to provide emotional labor to solve men's problems. Right, you know what? I'm just gonna go talk to someone else. You know what you gotta do, bro? You gotta put these 304s in their place. That sounds crazy. No, don't listen to him. What you have to do is accept that as a man, you suck, and women have a right to hate you because they are queens, and you will always be wrong, and she will always be right, and just let her step all over you. Oh, that's also not it. I feel like it's so hard to get good advice as a man. Women's problems are worse, and men are the cause of all of their own problems anyway. All right, I'm just gonna get a dog.
Bailey was going to be the Little Mermaid. They were in uproar. And I said, looking back, I should have joined them in the uproar because Black women just are not in the position at this time to be trusted with being anybody's representation. You know, if I have a Black daughter, I'm to the point it would be no internet, no iPad, and you're not looking at any of these, none of them. Because none of them respect the program. All of them think that it's about their own happiness. A lot of Black women don't know how to properly receive love because a part of love is accountability and guidance, okay? So the minute you try to hold them accountable and guide them in any way, they will reject it and vilify you because they're not used to receiving that type of love. Black women are not used to receiving the love that says, be better than me, do better. They're just not used to it, okay? So there's really not much guidance. There's not, you know, your sisters out here, they're not taking the guidance. They don't want to listen. They think, why do you care? They're offended when people care, not knowing how to digest love, not knowing how to take love in, okay? And, you know, I explained this before. You know, you can't have a store where one of them is selling gallons of milk for 10 cents and one of them is selling it for $5. You can't have one store come in and say, my milk gonna be 10 cents because it ruins the entire market. So when we continue to see women sucking for years, having baby after baby with men that don't like them, we already know. The minute a man has you taking more risk than he takes, we know that means he doesn't like you. That's the number one sign. So it's very difficult just as a community because we have too many women messing up the market. Like I was saying before, when the women came forward and said, oh, Halle Bailey, we don't want her there. Well, I understood why. And sure enough, Halle did the typical thing that every Black woman does when she gets any type of attention and fame. And her first move is to go get pregnant by a rapper. This need to be studied. We have never seen a rapper have a long-term, happy, faithful, healthy marriage. Not once.
You know, a lot of times for modern women, what really hurts them is that men, a lot of times, as modern women see it, men will choose the boring woman. Men will choose the regular woman, the woman that might not be all that in your eyes, right? But he's happy with her. She might not wear a lot of makeup. She might not dress the flashiest and most fashionable, but that woman is good to him, and she's peaceful, and she helps him in the same way that he helps her. And so a lot of times now, men are choosing calm over chaos. They're choosing a life of drama-free, headache-free, everlasting peace, right? So you can sit up there and talk about how they should get him. Why couldn't I? She's easy. He's intimidated by me, and she's going to put up with his BS. And really, that's a coping mechanism. You're just a loser. You're just a loser.
I am single because I have created a life for myself that is so full and so fun, and I have yet to find a man who adds to that.
That right there is the part that's not clocking to men. They're not understanding. They're not competing with each other anymore. They're competing with the peace and happiness we've found and made in our own lives, and they're losing. They're losing so badly, in fact, they are so miserable that a psychologist had to coin a new term, man-keeping, that is now caught on so largely that the New York Times had to write an article about it last week. And they nailed it. I re-downloaded Hinge recently, and let me tell you the 3 type of men that you're going to find over and over again on there right now. And as always, make sure you like, comment, repost, and follow along for more. Yes, quickly, we've talked about man-keeping on here before, but it's a term that they've coined because now men are literally so lonely and they can't maintain their male friendships that they are dumping all of their bad baggage and problems onto their partners unreciprocated. And so now it's leaking into ruining their dating lives as well. And you're right, the first man you're gonna find on Hinge, I'd say about 90% of them at this point, is the man that fits that description. He's gonna match with you, he's gonna talk your ear off, he's never really gonna ask you any questions about yourself, he's gonna tell you every detail of his day, send you repeated voice messages, and he's never gonna actually ask you off of the app. He's just using you as his own personal journal. You've heard of friends with benefits, now get ready for man keeping without benefits. Second kind of man you'll run into seems very sweet, very attentive, and is asking you questions. Conversation is pretty good. I put my phone down to go to the bathroom, I come back like 5 minutes later to multiple messages of him going, "Why do you seem like you're not interested anymore?" Good Lord, I didn't respond for 5 minutes. I don't want to end up locked in your basement. Sorry, gonna have to respectfully see myself out here, sir. Again, that's 2 for 2. Just go to therapy, not a dating app. And the third type of man you'll find has always been around, but I've noticed a concerningly large uptick in this type recently. And it's a man who's reached, I guess, a point of loneliness or misery in his life to the point where he has downloaded these dating apps just so that he can nag, make fun of, belittle, and irritate women. Which, yes, is wild because you actually have to match with them first for them to be able to do this. And that proves that they are the only problem in their life. Had this one happened today, a man changed his political beliefs just to match with me, and then he kept changing them and trying to gaslight me because I guess he thought it was funny. And that man is a perfect example because his bio said he was looking for marriage and he was 6'3", honestly gorgeous, but he was 32 years old and using a dating app to harass women. Yeah, that proves that literally your personality is the only problem with you, dude. Once again, literally just go to therapy, dude. And that's the ironic reverse uno of it all. Somehow these men are so miserable, dating has almost become a necessity for them, and dating is no longer a necessity for women.
Because when I walked in, it was packed. And what do you think I saw? What do you think I saw?
What did you see?
Exactly what I thought I was gonna see.
What?
80 women sitting alone. No men in sight. None.
I saw so many Black women try to solve a problem in dating by starting to host events in person, trying to create third spaces to facilitate dating like offline. And you know what would happen every single time? The men were not signing up. They would be selling tickets to speed dating, and they would always end up with men's tickets on sale. Always, because they weren't buying any. Just the other day, a big account that I follow for Black creatives did like this cute Cupid thing where they were like, hey, send us a profile about yourself and we would love to post it and like play matchmaker. Sounds like a cute idea, right? Not one single man sent their profile in. And mind you, this is an account that has well over 100,000 followers. It's just time to stop. It's time to stop. They have made it very loud and clear that they do not.
Singles event, and here's why I think we're doomed to be single for the rest of our lives. That was a bit dramatic, but let me tell my story. So I went to singles night at Church's Charlotte campus. Now, I don't go to that church, but I started following Pastor Stephen since he was a guest pastor at my church earlier this month. And when I found out that he was writing a book on dating and relationships, I was interested because, listen, your girl could use some divine intervention in that area. But I'll be honest, I didn't want to go at first. I figured it's a Christian singles event. There's going to be 50, 11 women there and like 2 men. Plus, they were advertising it as a conversation that you wouldn't expect to have at church. And I thought, I've heard enough of those modern dating and relationship podcasts. I don't need to hear any more, especially not with a biblical spin. Instead of having meaningful conversations about finding and building Christ-centered relationships,
we just left the event. So I think we were just saying that we think that we've actually hit rock bottom. No, it was actually. We think we've actually hit rock bottom, and I think we were either punked, catfished, or like a sick joke.
And my spirit, while I was there, my spirit told me, no mas, por favor. I am not going to no more of these, okay? That rhymed, period. I'm not going to anymore, and here's why. So that singles event was cool because they actually had a mix and mingle session at the end where they put us in a very cool atmosphere for people to talk and meet with each other. Although there was like 3 men there and 300 women, I loved the fact that they did that. I thought that was really cool. But my thing is, you go to one single.
See a lot of these women confused about why men don't approach anymore. But but I don't think they ever really stop to ask themselves, why would a man approach? Right? You can walk up to a woman trying to be respectful, and they start rolling their eyes. They immediately start with the BS. They immediately start with the attitude and all of that stuff, right? Might pull my phone out and start recording. A lot of times, these modern women will in a very sneaky way, pull their phone out for no reason, really, honestly, truly. I can see if he was feeling unsafe, but they'll kind of sneakily slide their phone out and, kind of leave it by their under the table or whatever, and just be recording the whole interaction, just watching a documentary where they really weren't supposed to be filming something, but they, obviously women don't really listen. And in that scenario, I'm not really mad at it because there was some shady stuff going on. But a lot of modern women just record because they want to post and disrespect you. Like they want to clown you and stuff like that. And in those situations and scenarios, men are like, why would I sit up here and allow this? Why would I sit up here and allow this to happen to me? Why would I be a part of this? Most men are saying, no, I'm okay.
Ain't it funny how you hear men these days talking about how they want a traditional woman? And on the surface, what does that sound like? That kind of sounds like they looking for somebody to do a little cooking, a little cleaning, taking care of the kids, making sure he okay, that kind of stuff. But see, a traditional woman is supposed to have a traditional man. And here's the problem that comes along with being a traditional man. See, back in the day, traditional men paid all the bills. He didn't split rent. He didn't talk about no 50-50. He was highly capable, and he fixed things around the house after he got off work without waiting weeks for a handyman to show up. He worked long hours, and he carried the weight of financial security, not only for himself, but for his family. And he still showed up day in and day out as protector and provider. And something else he never did? He never sat across from a woman and asked her, so, what do you bring to the table? Another thing he never did was refer to himself as an alpha male. He didn't have to. It already showed up with him when he walked in the door. You could feel the energy. He didn't need to say a word. But see, today, many modern men want women to play by the old rules while they themselves play by the new ones. They want a partner that cooks like their mama, nurtures like their grandmama, and still shows up in the bedroom like a freak in the sheets. And at the same time, they expect her to chip in on the bills, clean the house, take care of the kids, and have the same energy at home that she had at work. What? Sweet baby, that is not traditional. That's convenience. And what you need to ask yourself is, convenience for who? If we're going to have an honest conversation about this, let's do it. But we cannot cherry pick the parts of tradition that just serve one side. We can either embrace the full picture of what being traditional means, or we can acknowledge that we're in a new era where balance and partnership look different. But at the end of the day, no matter what, you can't be sitting around here asking for a traditional woman and expecting for her to be a traditional woman if you're not ready to crawl your little self into the shoes of a traditional man. See, some of y'all want to rewrite the roles so that her part is one thing and your part is another. But what you're doing is rewriting it so it's easier for you and harder for her. And baby, it just don't work that way. Relationships do not thrive or survive on double standards. They survive on consistency and sacrifice. So brothers, if you're asking for tradition, make sure that you're willing to carry the same weight that the men before you carried. If not, take 2 seats. Because what you're really asking for, it's not tradition, it's comfort at somebody else's expense. And that's not love. That's imbalance. Think about it.
You know, a lot of these modern women, they're upset because now men are, it used to kind of be unintentional. I wasn't really paying attention. And women would get ignored. But now men are ignoring women on purpose, and it's throwing women off because how can I get dressed up like this? How can I put this type of makeup on and spend hours on this makeup, this dress? I'm dressed down to the nines. Obviously, a lot of these modern women are talking about, I go outside and I see just baddies. Oh, just beautiful, fine, gorgeous women. But I don't see any good-looking men. And men still didn't approach. I'm thinking of that video that I think Sarah Eaton reviewed. She was kind of, reacting to it, where a woman was upset. She had a little cute outfit on, right? Hair was done cute, but just having like a little fit right there in her room, talking about, man, I look like this and men don't approach. I look like this and I still get ignored. It's because y'all have a bad attitude. You have a bad attitude. You're not pleasant to be around. Not even. Talk about dating. I was talking to my wife about this, and she was saying, well, I understand that a lot of women aren't feminine anymore. They're not friendly. They and all this other stuff. I said, we can't even get there. we can't even get there. Right? I think we were discussing, Ivan Preach, we're talking about Diary of a CEO and Incel, and the woman was reviewing one of his episodes, Diary of a CEO, and she was reviewing it, and then I think the man said something, and she just started going off about how men were to blame, and then Ivan Preach were like, how is that a man's fault? Exactly. It wasn't. It wasn't his fault. and that's what's happening. And I know it seems like I'm going everywhere, but it's just so many examples of modern women. You're getting ignored because of your bad attitude. She's sitting up there going off on men, and men, it ain't got nothing to do with me. If I got to deal with an attitude like that, if you react like that, I already know you're chaotic. I already know you're going to bring the drama. I already know you're not a good person. I'm going to ignore you. I'm going to ignore you. You don't even have to worry about being feminine. You don't even have to worry about being a girl, a woman with a soft touch, a woman that could use her words to maneuver a man. You can't. You are not a good person in the first place. We haven't even gotten to you being a woman. You're not a good person in the first place. The base level, you're not even a good, decent human being. That's where it's messed up at. Be a good person first, and then we'll talk about you and your role as a woman, what a woman does.